part of the reason why Young looked lost is the Saints defense played, cat and mouse and destroyed him. And then the Chargers defense did the same thing too. 2-0 teams that are surprising. Seattle is in that category. Minnesota is in that category. You could even say the Steelers are in that category. Give me one of those teams that you think we've seen enough to say, okay, that's the team we're going to get over the next 15 regular season games. Lewis?
Yeah, the one that's look, I've always been a big Saints fan because I'm a fan of the way they play defense, and I really do. Like, for instance, I've always believed in Derek Carr. I've always believed that if he could just get comfortable and really just for him, really block out the noise, utilize all the weapons that he has when he has a ton of them now down there in New Orleans, that he could be a guy who could string together some consecutive games of consistency to where it would look like it did years ago when he was in Oakland before he got injured, where he was really considered to be an MVP candidate at one point in time. And I've talked to him so many times to the point where you can just see that now, with Chris and Rashid and Alvin and the guys that he has down there, and with Clint calling the plays down there and the scheme that they run and the way in which it all works together, that wide zone and the play action passing game, that's made for Derek. And that defense has been badass, to be blunt. It's always been. They have a bunch of killers on that side of the ball, with all due respect, and saying that respectfully. I mean, they have a bunch of guys who can play ball. And now it all seems to be marrying up. And the other team that I'll say this. So I think they'll sustain it. The other team that is playing good football, and I think it's going to get better, is primarily because the quarterback is going to get more and more comfortable. And I said this in the offseason, that the new offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, Arthur Smith, loved Justin Fields. Arthur's a great friend of mine. I've known him for 20 plus years. He loved and was intrigued, and he was absolutely looking forward to working with this kid. What he's doing for him is the same type of thing we watched him do for Ryan Tannehill when Ryan took over for Mariota, when they were all together in Tennessee, when Arthur was the OC there. And as Justin continues to play faster, more decisive, throwing the football with better and better accuracy. He's always been able to throw the deep ball outside the numbers. As he's able to attack all quadrants of the field, meaning I'm going to exploit you between the numbers too. Look out for this team. Look out. Because we know what he can do running the football. We know what he can do out of structure. That's the team that at the beginning of the year, it was Justin. Caleb, Chicago's going to be so happy that they shipped him out of town and got Caleb. He's nothing but a running back playing quarterback. He'll never be this. The one mistake you can never make in the NFL, and Rich, you know this, you've been covering it a long time. Never say never. Never say never. Never assume that every situation is just like the one that the player just left, and that different situations don't affect players in different ways. Because what's happening in Pittsburgh right now is the perfect spot for him. It was perfect. And at the end, Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan are probably going to have the last laugh on this one.
Well, right now, Tomlin's saying the reason why Fields is there is because Russ isn't even an option to be a full participant in practice. So let's just leave that aside. And then any questions asked about, is Justin winning the job right now, or can he salt it away to remove the question of Russ's availability from the equation? And Tomlin pushes back stridently on that, Lewis.
I think it's a little bit of, like, I'm not going to speak for Mike, because Mike, he'll give you a tongue lashing when you try and speak for Mike.
Yep.
But I would say this, at the risk of that happening, I would say this is a little bit of mind games that Mike is playing. It's like, look, I'm not going to let Justin, I'm just not going to tell him, yeah, you got the job now. Justin is playing very motivated for his, to win the job, to prove people wrong, to prove himself right, however you want to term it. And everybody plays when they have a little bit of a fire under their rear end, and they don't quite know whether or not they can get comfortable. Being uncomfortable, especially in the NFL, usually does spur people on to continue to try and strive and get better and better. And I'm not saying he's not intrinsically motivated, but right now it's working. It's working for Mike, the way in which he's handling this. If you just want to kind of equate it to Justin's performance, because every week he gets a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I can't for the life of me understand under any circumstance other than Justin really just bombs out, they lose a couple games or whatever. I would never be able to really reconcile in my mind why he would just put Russ back in there at this point. If Justin doesn't do something that's so egregious to make you want to take him out of there. I don't see that happening.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.